Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from the Fairgrounds Racecourse here on Saturday. It is the 21st of March, 2026. Gonna look at the stakes races on the program here on Louisiana Derby Day. But before I get on to that, remember to follow me on X at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world. And I mean around the world. Next weekend, we have some great racing with the Arkansas Derby, the Florida Derby, and the Dubai World Cup. So I hope you join me for that smorgasbord of racing. But let's look at the Louisiana Derby card from the Fairgrounds Stakes races here. We'll be looking at races 2, 6, 8, and then races 9 through uh, races 9 through 12. So quite a few races to look at. Let's get to it right now. The second race from the Fairgrounds, it's the Crescent City Oaks. It's going for a $100,000 purse. Races for 3-year-old fillies. We have a field of 7 horses going a mile 70 yards on the main track. Gonna take the 2-horse Breakin' Papa as top selection. 3-1-4-6 for me in the superfecta. 3-1-4-6 super top selection 3-horse Broken Papa. This 3-year-old caught by Aurelius Maximus. Steve Asmussen trains. Jose Ortiz gets to mount. They ran the horse most recently 28th February at the Fairgrounds, a mile in a state bred race for Louisiana bred horses, and he won by 9.5 lengths. He sat on the front end and he just kept going. He quickened up nicely, came home with an 80 career best buyer. I thought that was a very strong run. He's refreshing here, not the world's deepest race. I think he can improve and find the job done, find the trip to get the job done here today. He ran 2 back an optional 50 for state birds here at the Fairgrounds, mile on 30th of January, and he won by 1 3/4 lengths. He came from a tracking trip. It looked like he was going to go down late, but he dug in. He got the job done. A very good race there. And then here on the 4th of January, mile in the main special weight, winning by 3 lengths. He stalked, he got the lead again. A very good, clear race. Since coming to routing trips, he's really done a lot. He's run 4 races at Fairgrounds, 4 improving races, 4 to 5. I know it's a crap price here, but he's very likely winner. We're going to single him in the early multi-race wagers. But to recount my selection for the second from the Fairgrounds, it's the Crescent City Oaks. Going to take the 2-horse Breakin' Papa, 2-1-4-6 super. We're going to single the 2 in the multi-race. 6th event from the Fairgrounds, going to the Stall Wilson Turf Course. It's Tom Benson Memorial. It's going for a $150,000 purse. Race for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upwards here. We have a field of 7 horses going 1,700 meters or a mile 1/16 on the turf course. Going to take the 1-horse Ready for Shirley as a top selection. 1-6-3-7 in the superfecta, 1-6-3-7 super, top selection 1-horse Ready for Cheryl. This 5-year-old mare by More Than Ready. Dallas Stewart trains. Brian Hernandez Jr. gets the mount. They ran the horse most recently on the what day was that? 24th of January at the Gulfstream, mile 16th in the Pegasus World Cup turf, Philly Mayer turf. She finished 11 by 7 lengths that day, and she just had a very troubled trip. She never really got going. Even with the trouble trip, I don't think she was going to win, but it just wasn't her day to win. I think she's way down the class ladder coming here to the Fairgrounds. First start on Dallas Stewart, was previously trained by Roger Atfield, the veteran. I think this horse could really improve. He ran over the mile 16th of Woodbine in mid-October in the Dan Smartley Stakes 2 back, and he finished 3rd by 3 lengths that day. She was a little bit wide, but she was gaining that day. I thought she wanted some more ground, but she ran her heart out there. And then the E.P. Taylor Stakes at Woodbine over the mile quarter on the E.P. Taylor lawn, finished 3rd by 10.5 lengths. She feels pretty, really ran clear that day. The second place finish was much the best also. This horse just wasn't getting into it, but her win in the Canadian prior to that was quite impressive with an 88 buyer going 9 furlongs on the turf, winning by a head. They timed the race perfectly, and she got the job done. She won twice last year. She once to begin the season at to Gulfstream on Tapeta, and once in the Canadian. The races before that weren't bad at all. She's refreshing to this turf horse against a little lesser quality horse she's been facing as recently. I think she could find a trip here. I think the 6-horse Sea to Sky for Jose Ortiz and Sherry DeVoe could win also. Was a winner a couple of years ago, 24th of September of 2024 at Newmarket, 1 mile in a novice race where he won by 2 1/4 lengths and came from the front end. That was a very good race. But since then, they switched tactics up. He's coming from behind. He hasn't been running half bad. He's just not getting the winning check. Start off at his career here stateside back in August, Saratoga, with 9 furlongs in the Mellon, where he finished 8th by 8 3/4 lengths, where he just had a bit of a trouble trip that day. Also, neither race off the bench. Came back to run a decent race in the Winter Memories after that at Aqueduct. And then his races in the fall and over the winter at the Fairgrounds weren't bad at all. Should see pace to close up into. He's drawn for this trip very well. He's bred for this trip through and through without parole on the sire side. I'm going to give this horse shot on the ticket here. But to recount my selection for the 6th from the Fairgrounds, it's Tom Benson Memorial. Going to take the 1-horse Ready for Cheryl. Give kudos to 6-horse Sea to Sky. Where are we? 1-6-3-7 super. 1-6 in multi-race to the 8th. The 8th race from the Fairgrounds. It is the Costa Rising Stakes. It's going for a $100,000 purse. Race for 3-year-olds and upwards here. Louisiana breds. We have a field of 13 horses entered, where only 12 could go the distance of ground of 1,100 meters or 5.5 furlongs on the Stall Wilson turf course. Gotta take the one horse nine part as a top selection. 1,524 for me in the superfecta. 1,524 super. Top selection of one horse nine part. This 5-year-old horse here by Leo Frick, Joseph Felix trains. Jose Ortiz gets the mount. First up, first step, stepping on the green stuff. Can't speak, pardon me. Fairgrounds 5.5 on Ops 35 claimer back here about a month ago. He won by 2.25 lengths, and didn't get out of the gate clearly. But after that, he settled well. He quickened up a lot, and he was cranked. It was his first start since the 13th of May, and he flew home clear. Coming here second off the bench, back to the green stuff, first time stakes quality horses. I think he has enough speed to really improve and get the job done here again. Two back on optional 15, Louisiana down, 6 furlongs, 13th of May. Finished second by a neck, and he was dueling on the front and only had two other rivals that day. He just kind of, got overtaken late, but he didn't go down without a fight. I thought he showed potential. And then last February, Fairground 6 furlongs, option 35, winning by 3.25 lengths that day, coming from mid-pack. I thought it was a very clear victory. His most recent race hasn't been half bad. I like that he's back to turf. I think he can win. I think the 5 horse here, who is Monsieur Candy for Jareth Loveberry. Of course, I absolutely loves the green stuff. Could really improve also. Ravelli trains this one. He ran most recently in option 35 for State Breds, going 5.5 here in mid-February, where he finished second by 1.25 lengths, where he just got caught in the lane. That really cost him that day. He ran prior to that option 50 on the front end, going 5.5 here right before Christmas, where he finished third by 3.25 lengths, where again, he just kind of yielded in the lane. His races over the summer, Colonial, weren't bad at all. Won a very nice allowance race there on the 29th of August by a neck, gaming it out to the wire. He likes turf sprinting, hasn't won on this turf course yet, but he's always run these terrific races. I think he could finally get that winning check here and start number 5 on this turf course. We'll use him at 9-2, but you recount my selection for the 8th from the fairgrounds. Now it's the Costa Rising. Going to take the one horse 9 part. Give kudos to the 5 horse Monsieur Candy. 1,524 super. 1-5 in the multi race. Heading over to race number 9 from the fairgrounds, a race very rich in history. It's the New Orleans Classic Stakes. It's a grade 2 event going for a $500,000 purse race for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 6 horses going 1,800 meters or a mile and an eighth in the New Orleans Classic, formerly known as the New Orleans Handicap. I gotta go with the 4-horse Life and Times. 4,365 for me in the superfecta. 4,365 super. Top selection of 4-horse Life and Times is 5-year-old Gelm by Justified. Todd Pletcher trains. Flavian Pratt gets the mount. Ran the horse most recently about 2 months ago, 24th of January at Goldstream. 1 mile on the Fred W. Hooper. First time stakes quality horse, his first time out in New York. I thought this horse ran terrifically. He finished third by 8.25 lengths. Knightsbridge really is a freak of an animal. Was next start winner, is targeting now the Churchill Downs Stakes Derby weekend at Churchill. But this horse, he kind of stalked him. He just got beat by a very good horse. But for being his first time stakes quality horses, I think he ran out bad. He's coming here for 2 turns, which he's bred for through and through. He's training well at Palm Beach. I think he can improve and get the job done here today. He ran an Aqueduct in early December prior to that, the 1-turn mile allowance race, where he won by 6.75 lengths that day. He stalked all around the race course. When he got to the lead, he flew home clear. Very good run. And then prior to that, the main special weight at Aqueduct going the 1-turn mile in early November, won by 5.25 lengths. He drew off that day in a hand ride. He only made his debut as a 4-year-old at the end of his 4-year-old campaign, but he's very lately raced into his 5-year-old campaign. He's done everything right so far, I think. I think he can improve here today. I'm going to use him on the ticket. I think this 3-horse Accelerise for Todd and John Velasquez. John Velasquez on paper. I don't know if he's going to ride this horse. I think he's riding a turfway today. But this horse, his races here over the winter weren't bad at all. He won Louisiana Stakes in a grinding out performance. Came back from a very good place in the mine shaft. He's cross-entered with the Essex Handicap today at Oaklawn. If he runs here, I think he has a logical chance here, better chance than he does at Oaklawn. His races, he's definitely been on the improve. I'm going to give him a shot 3-1 on the ticket. And I think the 6-horse here, Corporate Power for Steve Afson and Luis Saez, off the bench of about a year and a half here. He won quite nicely by 1.25 lengths. It was the first race since November 2024 where he just ran horribly in Discovery and then ran horribly in the Travers. He hasn't won since the Sir Barton of 2024 at Pimlico. But I think he has some hidden ability that could do wonders here. 8-1. I'll give him a shot in this all stakes pick 4 and bevy of multi-race wagers that connect some of these races to turfway races also. So you have some options here. But to recap my selection for the 9th from the fairgrounds, it's New Orleans Classic. Going to take the 4-horse Life and Times. Give kudos to the 3-horse Accelerise and the 6-horse Corporate Power. 4,365 Super. 4,36. And the multi-race to the 10th now. The 10th race from the fairgrounds. It is the Muniz Memorial Classic. It's a grade two event going for a purse of $300,000, race for 4-year-olds and upwards here. We have a field of 7 horses going 1,800 meters or mile 1/8 in the Muniz Memorial race. In the last couple of years, we've seen some very, very good grade one quality horses running this race. This year, not a grade one race. I think if they kept getting grade, races like they've had in the last couple of years, this race might be a grade one by the end of the decade. Still think that also, but this year it's not. It's not. It's a good race, but it's not a grade one quality race like we've had in years past. I'm going to go with the 4 horse Legnos as the top selection. 4752 for me in the superfecta. 4752 super top selection 4 horse Legnos. This 5-year-old horse by Canthros here. Steve Asperson trains. Jose Ortiz gets to mount. They ran the horse about 5 weeks ago here at the fairgrounds, a mile and an eighth in the fairground stakes. And he won by 2 1/4 lengths, and he stalked from a wide trip that day. When he went to the lane, he flew home clear. That was a much the best victory that day. He's back to the turf course. He's run very well. He's run very good buyers that, go above everybody else here today. I think he can improve and get the job done. He ran two back on the 17th of January locally, mile 16th in Colonel Bradley, and he finished second by 1 1/4 lengths. He stalked that day. He had the lead, but then he just kind of yielded, maybe quick to that 3/4 time just got to him there. And then at Churchill in the River City of the mile and the 8th in November, he finished third by 4 1/4 lengths that day. And he just, he moved a little bit late, but he still needs something more. And then ran the mid-million prior to that in a very, very wide trip. You don't see a lot of 13 horse fields at Kentucky Downs. He was drawn in 13 that day. He was wide, but he was gaining that day. If you look at some of his race over the summer last year, he was running against some tough horses. Ran the opening verse, a very good place where he just got caught at the wire. Came back to run very good third in the Arlington, very good third in the Churchill Downs, in the Wisedown of Churchill Downs. Started 3 times at Churchill last spring, which wasn't half bad. He's coming here 2-1. I think his hitting ability that could do wonders. I'm going to use him on the ticket. I think the 7 horse here program trading. He hasn't won in quite a few years for Flavian and Chad, but I think this horse could connect to a victor also. His last victory, you have to go to the Turf Classic of 2024 at Churchill going 9 furlongs, where he won by head and he grinded out to the wire, getting the job done. A very good performance with 102 buyer. He came back to run at the Belmont Stakes Festival Saratoga after that with the mile 3/16 in the Manhattan, where he, disappointing fifth. Came back injured, didn't run for about 15 months afterwards. Came back last summer in the Bernard Baruch at Saratoga, where he had a very good place in the Keeneland Turf Mile, and then ran the Bruce Cup mile where he just stunk off the place. And then the Pegasus, he just didn't have the trip. You need a very good lucky trip in that Pegasus race at Goldstone with that narrow turf course. He didn't have any of that. He's coming to a better turf course here today. I think he could get a piece fit late. I'll use him on the ticket, making his fairgrounds debut. And I think the 5 horse Tom's Magic also for Michael Stidham could find a piece also. He hasn't won since the Breeder Stakes at Woodbine Gold Mile and a Half. Came back to run a very good place in the Hollywood Derby after that, and a very good place in the Tampa Bay Stakes after that also. Coming here back to this turf horse, let's use him on the pick 4. But to recount my selection for the 10th in the fairgrounds, it's Muniz Memorial Classic. Going to take the 4 horse Legnos. Give kudos to the 7 horse program trading in the 5 horse Tom's Magic. 4752 Super. 475 in the multi race to the 11th now. The 11th race from the fairgrounds. It is the Fairgrounds Oaks. It's a grade two event going for a $400,000 purse race for 3-year-old fillies here. We have a field of 7 horses going the distance of ground to 1,700 meters or mile 1/16 in the Fairgrounds Oaks. Going to take the 5 horse Bella Ballerina as top selection. 5-6-7-4 in the superfecta. 5-6-7-4 super. Top selection, the 5 horse Bella Ballerina. 3 over by Street Sense. Brendan Walsh trains. Tyler Gaffleone gets to mount. They ran the horse most recently on the 14th of February here at the fairgrounds, mile 16th in Rachel Alexandra, and she won by a half a length that day. She sat on the front end that day. Love Your Neighbor really came back to this horse late from a tracking trip and had the lead. This horse, and then just couldn't keep up late. Bella Ballerina fought back. I thought that was a very gritty performance off the bench. She's coming here second off the bench. She'll be a little bit fresher. I think she can improve off that run. The road to the Kentucky Oaks via New Orleans has been very kind to a lot of these horses. So just keep that in mind when you go into the race, and also going into the Oaks in a few weeks' time. Ran 2 back in the Golden Rod at Churchill, mile 16th in late November, and he won by a half a length that day. Had a very wide trip that day, but really gained some ground late, got the lead, and went away with it. An 80 buyer, I thought that was good. First start around 2 turns, first time winners and stakes quality horses. On debut, ran at Keeneland going 6 furlongs in early October in a main special weight. Went by 4 1/4 lengths. pace. He circled the field that day, come from the back of the pack, really quarter-horsed home, a very good run. Training well since the last race. She'll be a little bit fresher since the last one also. I think she's a serious horse that you have to keep an eye going into Churchill in the next few weeks. I think the 6 horse Life of Joy for Brad and Flavian Cohen also. Ran on the Suncoast a few weeks ago at Tampa over the mile 40, where he finished second by 2 3/4 lengths that day, where she just went down late. She just needs something more, but she ran her heart out that day. Again, in the Golden Rod, the pace is really showing up that day. She moved a little bit late in the back of the pack, but she needs, again, something more. But she won the Rags to Riches going mile 16th at Churchill quite nicely in October. Broke her main at Indiana quite nicely in the front end also in early October. She's done everything right. Back around 2 turns, she'll see pace to close up into. She'll absolutely adore the long stretch here. I'll give her a shout out 4-1 on the ticket. But to recount my selection for the 11th in the Fairgrounds now, it's Fairgrounds Oaks. Going to take the 5 horse Bella Ballerina. Give kudos to 6 horse Life of Joy. 5 6 7 4 Super. 5 6 in the multi race. To the feature 12th race now. The 12th race from the fairgrounds, the meat feature, it is the Louisiana Derby. It's a grade 2 event going for $1 million purse. Race for 3-year-olds here. We field 9 horses going 1,900 meters or a mile 3/16 in the Louisiana Derby. Going to take the 3 horse Chip Honcho as top selection. 3957 for me in the superfecta. 3957 super. Top selection 3 horse Chip Honcho. This 3-year-old colt by Connect here. Steve Asmussen trains. Luis Saez gets the mount. Ran the horse a month ago in the Crescent Star here, a mile and 1/8 on the 14th of February, and he finished second by a half length. He was on the front end. Paladin just caught this horse in the lane, but he didn't go down without a fight. I thought he showed potential that day. If he could slow it down from a tracking trip, I think he could win. He was drawn very wide in the Lecomte 2 back here in mid-February, January, over the mile 16th here. He finished fourth by 1 3/4 lengths, breaking 10 of 10. Didn't break so well. Had to get quarter horse, get a good position, but he was still wide throughout, and he just kind of yielded before the wire. It wasn't his day to win. He just needed to save some ground there. And then he ran the gun runner right before Christmas over the mile 16th, winning by 3/4 of a length that day. He stalked to the front end. He quickened up nicely, came home with an 81 buyer. That was impressive. If you go over his races since Christmas, he's really improved a lot. He came back with a 92 buyer last month. He's training well locally on this track. I think he can do a lot here. I'm going to use him on the ticket. A very lightly raced horse, but also I think a very likely winner is the 9 horse Emerging Market. I think he could be emerging into this Derby campaign also. This 3-year colt by Candy Ride. Chad Brown trains. Flavian Pratt gets mount 6-1 here. I don't think you're going to get 6-1 though. I think he could go off at 9-2, something like that. He ran most recently at Tampa on debut, a mile 40 on the 7th of February to main special weight. Winning by 3/4 length, coming from mid pack. He was drifting up a little bit late that day, but he kept to the task. I thought that was a very good run. Hopefully not so green. He's bred for this mile 3. He's bred for a mile and a half. If they ran the Belmont this year in a mile and a half, he would be my horse. Can't wait to next year to say that he's my Belmont horse. But Candy Ride with an Empire Maker down. This horse could probably go 5 miles and still win. But he's bred for the mile and a quarter, mile 3/16 trip up and up. I think he could really improve off his most recent race. Coming here second off the bench. 22% Chad Brown, which isn't half bad at all. Fairground Shippers, he does decently here, and Fabian's had a great winter riding here when he's coming here on the weekends. Source training well pace and 49.3 for a half-mile drill last week and a half-mile week prior and 49.4. I think he's reared to go. Like I said, he has a beautiful pedigree. If he's 100% cranked, I think he could win. I also think the 5 horse here, Golden Tempo for Jose Ortiz and Sheree DeVoe, and also won the Lecomte here 2 months, gaining a lot of ground from the back of the pack. Came back to run in the Red Star after that, where he ran an okay third place finish. I thought he needs some more pace in the front end. If they're flying up front, I think he could pick up some pieces late. 7-2, let's use him in the pick 4. But I do think it's going to be a very good race. I think Chip Honcho and Emerging Market are 2 very nice horses, so can't wait for this one. But to recount my selection for the 12th in the fairgrounds, it is the Louisiana Derby. Going to take 3 horse Chip Honcho, give kudos to the 9 horse Emerging Market and the 5 horse Golden Tempo, where we have 3957 Super, 395 in the multi-race. With that being said, good luck to all, and please follow me on X at Horse Racing Kit 5, and join me next week for my Florida Derby, my Florida Derby, Arkansas Derby, and Dubai World Cup previews. Good luck, everybody.